Hi, guys. I'm Tara Lipinski.
And this is Todd Kapistashi.
And you are listening to Unexpecting.
The podcast.
Yes.
Not a TV show.
Not a TV show. Guess what today is?
Today is June 24th.
Mm-hmm. 7 years of marriage, guys. Doesn't that feel insane? It feels like, to me, oh gosh, why are you smirking like this?
I'm only smiling because I was doing a work thing today, but with a friend of mine who was in our wedding, Matt. And I, for some reason, said we've been married 8 years. So I was like, Matt, 8 years ago on this day, you were dressed up in a tuxedo
Did he
next
correct
to me.
you?
I forget. He was like, oh man, it's been 8 years. And I was like, oh wait, no, it's 2017
Yeah,
to 24.
seven years. 7 year itch.
What does it feel like to you? Like how many years?
So that's what I was going to say. I want to hear from you.
Well, no, I asked you.
Okay. But I feel like it feels like yesterday still. Like if I think back to my relationships in my life where you like think of like, oh, I was with someone for 4 years or someone for 2 years. All of those felt longer or something. And you and I still feel like we just met. I don't know what it is.
Probably because we're still working through the kinks. Still feels like the beginning.
It still feels like the beginning.
We haven't hit yet that like cruise control mode.
We've just moved in together.
Yeah. I guess
But what do you feel?
I don't know. I mean, when I think back to our wedding, time passes. So like it feels like that was a long time ago. I look also at pictures and I'm like, oh, I didn't have gray in my beard and I was 15 pounds thinner. Those were the days. So that feels like a lifetime ago that I looked like that.
You're more distinguished now.
Yeah. You look the same.
With the gray.
Annoying.
I like the salt and pepper, by the way.
Oh my gosh, I forgot. I didn't even think about this. I would have shaved if I would have remembered. I'm kind of just growing out a weird little
beard.
It's not a beard really, but this is as long as I kind of ever let it go because it itches and
yeah,
I don't like it. So
well,
what do you think of my beard?
I like it. I like the salt and pepper. I know you. Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm asking you the length.
Oh, I think it could go a little shorter. It's just I don't like too long. I feel like most women would agree with me here.
Yeah,
it's like a perfect middle ground. But anyways, back to the anniversary. I feel like it was just yesterday, and I think that 7 years is insane. And I think that everyone talks about. I mean, it's the 7 year itch of like that's when you're with someone for so long, and it's really making it past that next point.
Wait, itch? Like an itch to like be like infidelity?
Have you not? Oh, is that? No, that's not what it's about. I think the
What
7 year
else would it be
itch is
about?
just like you get antsy because you've now been married a certain period of time.
But
and
what do you
I feel
have
like
an itch to do? There's only a few things in a marriage that you can have an itch to do.
Oh, I didn't
get
actually,
divorced or cheat.
I didn't think about that.
I just feel like if I look back at how much we've done together, because we've been lucky enough to go on a bunch of amazing trips, and you're a bunch of Olympics we've gone to, and
yeah, we've done so much.
Done a lot of
but
stuff.
in the grand scheme of things,
we've gotten a house.
It doesn't feel that long.
Like big life things. We had Georgie. We tried to have Georgie for 5 years.
Well, you know what I was going to say? I almost feel like we put our life on pause for 5 years. So maybe that's why I feel this way. Because we started fertility treatments in 2018. We got married in 2017. So I feel like it was all fun and games. And then everything just paused. And maybe we were just frozen in time. And it's really just feeling like year 3 or 4 now.
And now a quick word from our sponsors.
Whether you're just starting to think about building a family, or maybe you're on a fertility journey through IVF like I was, I think back, there's really so much to consider, so many unknowns and questions, and plus for some like me, a ton of anxieties around pregnancy. And I think no matter the journey, all women are wanting to make sure they're covered and doing the best they can during the process of pregnancy and even before pregnancy as you prep your body. And that is why I love sharing about Ritual. That is the prenatal that I chose from day one. And it was one part of the process that I didn't have to worry about. I knew I was getting the 12 key nutrients for pregnancy in just 2 daily capsules. And if you know me, you know I researched a ton for which prenatal that I was going to choose. And it was just such an easy decision to trust Ritual's Essential For Women Prenatal because it's rigorously tested by a third party for allergens, microbes, heavy metals. I love that it's clean label project certified. And a few other things made the difference for me. This is a multivitamin designed for mom to baby support. with methylated folate and nature identical choline to support baby's neural tube development, omega-3 DHA for brain and early vision development, vitamin D to support fetal bone health. It really has it all. And it's so important to know what you're putting in your body, especially during your pregnancy journey. And with Ritual's dedication to traceable science and sourcing, you always will. See for yourself with 25% off your first month for a limited time at ritual.com/Tara. You know what else happened this week? Like within a few days of each other. Remember the two things? We've kind of mentioned it on the podcast, but we have to also do a surrogate update. But two of the companies that I'm working with, fertility companies that I'm really like jumped on board with, that became head of community kind of at both. Actually, Rune, they called me when it came out today, strategic advisor.
When I saw that, I knew you loved that.
I was like, this is the best title.
Official title you've ever had.
Official title I've ever had, for sure.
More than Olympic champion.
Yeah. Strategic advisor. I mean, what does that
Makes you
even
sound
mean?
like you know what you're doing.
Yeah. But anyways, I've been working, actually, for me, when I'm like broadcasting or doing my other work, it's, skating season's here, skating season's off right now. But like, this is kind of full time for me, especially with Rune. I'm working every single day on it and I love it. I'm so passionate about this app, and I'll just like recap it briefly, but the founders reached out to me, and this is an app where it really just like helps you navigate your fertility journey and get like real answers from doctors, and no more sort of like, for me, what I loved about it was no more Google, like Dr. Google, and the anxiety that creates, because I did that. That's all that I did every single night. Come home from my appointment and Google and Reddit, and not sure if I was getting true information. But they had just reached out and were like, we want it. The way that the app works is all these videos will pop up and it's curated for you, and you fill out everything about your journey. So you're targeted in a very specific way of information that you might need, and you can ask a million questions into this app, and it's awesome. But they wanted to also do a lived experience section, community section. So they asked me to be part of it. And when I was doing this and they were telling me about it, I was like, guys, I know this is your thing, but I need to work on this. This is incredible. Like, I've thought of this throughout the last 5 years because of what I thought was missing and how desperate I was to find information. And, I just got so into it. So now I spend, I am a strategic advisor. So it's no joke. Like, I spend a lot of time doing this, and I'm so psyched for it. And so anyway, it launched today, and I am bringing on so many women that I have followed on Instagram to share their stories. And then I have other ideas of how to build out this community and, to really make it exciting. So that came out today. The app was actually up just to make sure it was working and getting out all the kinks on my birthday, June 10th. And then today, June 24th, on our anniversary. I feel like it was meant to be. It launched. So I'm super pumped about that. And then Dandy Fertility, which I'm working with as well as head of community, they came out with their big launch last week, a few days ago. So it's been a busy week for me, but it's really exciting to actually now see companies or just places that you can go to now if you're on a fertility journey. I mean, if you're starting one or in the middle of it or a long hauler like us, it's really, I don't know, it's really cool to see these things popping up because it's so long overdue.
Well, this is almost like your dream scenario. Not like you wanted to go through 5 years of infertility, but just that people have been reaching out to you to like get involved in their solutions to a lot of the problems we had is cool.
It really is. It feels so good for me to still be connected, because I think I identify so much still in that world. And I'm still connecting with all these women. I mean, my favorite thing is when women send me their pregnancy sticks. And I've had a few this week, and I've nailed it, Todd. I can't believe I haven't bragged to you about the numbers, but guys, just so you know, someone will send me their stick. I will look at it and then they'll be like, what do you think the number is? And I'll like guess, and then they'll come back and laugh and tell me. And I'm really only a few points off. So I feel like, not to brag, it's been a big week. some great pregnancies in the community that I got the messages about. That's what's so cool too is, we've been doing this a while now. So there's been people that, even after Georgie was born that were saying, I'm still in the thick of it and I'm going for a transfer, I'm doing this. And, if transfer failed or I had a miscarriage, but now I'm getting the good messages, of them coming back and be like, I'm pregnant. I'm 9 weeks pregnant. It's working this time. So it's really cool to still connect with these people and then see it come full circle.
It's nice too that, I even have like friends or acquaintances who like reach out to me and or you for advice. I feel like people kind of see you as a resource for them now, which is kind of fun.
Why are you laughing?
I don't know. They should probably go to like a trained medical physician, but you're good.
Yeah. I'm not
seriously
physician.
Though, when you go through anything for that, it's like if you had survived some sort of cancer,
right.
like of course people are going to reach out and ask you questions.
Right.
And you have a expertise now, I think, that an unfortunate one, but
right. That is the interesting part. I think that, now looking how involved I am in the fertility world, it's like you said, it's kind of strange. It's like unfortunate because I didn't want to gain all that information, but there is maybe that silver lining that now I'm still able to connect with all these people in this community. And, anyways, it's been good. Our own journey on baby number 2 is slow going. We were hoping to transfer in July. That was like our game plan. And that is definitely we're not going to hit that target. And I don't know. It's just very different this time around. And because we know so much, and I think even going through, and so many people ask me about surrogacy, so I'm glad we're talking about it. But even though the first time around we had obviously our amazing doctor and all the protocols that they go through and medical screening and all these things. But, we went through it for the first time and you learn things. You learn things throughout the pregnancy. You learn things that you want to do this time around. Or just things scare you a little bit more. It's like Michaela had 5 pregnancies before me, and we were her 6th. And my doctor made that exception. She only takes like a surrogate who's had 5. And, it's hard now because, talking to Dr. Beck, we can't use Michaela. Obviously, this would have been her 7th, but, it's all on you. There was a surrogate that came up again. It was like the 5 pregnancies. This would be the 6th. And, I was talking with her and she's like, it's a risk. What would you like to do? And you're just making all of these choices. And now I know why she's asking that because, there could be complications later in the pregnancy. And then I think back to when we were in that, 40-week pregnancy with Georgie, where you're just like, oh gosh, I have to I was a little naive the first round which it worked out so beautifully because Michaela is a unicorn. I truly, well, that goes down in history. She is the Olympic champion of surrogates, but, it's a lot to think about. And so I feel like I'm trying not to rush, and make sure that, hopefully we dot all our I's and cross our T's, but it's a little bit slow.
Yeah. And still debating between boy or girl.
Yeah. Going back and forth on that all the time. We only have one girl left.
But it's also a luxury to even be able to choose. So
it really is.
Awesome.
All of it, right? Like, I think, again, we always say this on the podcast, but the fact that we're able to, it's slow, but we're able to, at some point, hopefully find a surrogate and have a second journey. And then also, that you're able to even, have these embryos on ice and then choose
and that
the
we
gender.
Have Georgie too. So
yeah.
That's the most important thing.
But I do get a lot of questions about surrogacy. There's a few people that I'm friends with on Instagram that are currently looking and going through the process, and they'll be like, "Wait, what do you look for? What are your like bullet
Criteria,
points that you have to have?" And I'm like, I don't know. This time I don't even know. Do we start compromising? And but hopefully it'll come around soon.
We'll find one. Yeah.
And we get to update you guys. That'll be really fun to go along that journey.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting, just like starting it all over again. But
yeah, but not to, I probably shouldn't say this because I want everyone to listen to the podcast. But I don't know, when Michaela was pregnant, I don't know. It was pretty like in a great way. It was fairly uneventful.
Eventful.
Right?
I know, but that was the great thing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm terrified of.
Well, let's just hope it's
Yeah.
that uneventful
Yeah.
this time.
We want
too.
uneventful
Yeah.
everything.
We want to come on the podcast and be like, no new news.
No new news, guys. Just hitting another
in
week.
there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's it. It's funny. I was getting one last thing on the surrogacy journey, but like with Michaela the other day, we had like this kismet moment where we texted each other literally at like the same time, where I was sending her a picture that popped up in my phone of the day of the birth, and I was with that picture of her in bed and everything, and I was there with her, and I sent that to her, and she's like, "Oh, like I'm in my feels too." You know, sometimes like she kept all of our text messages, but I have them too from the start. And she's like, sometimes I'll scroll back and I'll just be like reminisce about it. So, you know, I feel like it's still nice to have her support, even though we're not on this journey with her. We're still connected in, you know, a pretty cool way.
We say it every time, but long overdue. We need to do like a
we need to
big
do
thing with her.
with Michaela. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we will do that. All right. I feel like that's all I've got for you guys.
Yep.
All right. Good
Happy
show.
anniversary.
I love you.
Love you.
Thanks for listening to Unexpecting the podcast. Please subscribe, leave a review, and follow Unexpecting Pod on Instagram for info about upcoming weekly episode releases.